Let's just see. Wemberleeee!
Wemberleeee! We're the greatest Liverpool FC and we're going to Wemberleeee.
Wemberleeee! Okay,
Unbelievable.
so we are live. Liverpool won last night against Arsenal, and we're through to the Carabao Cup final. If you've made disparaging remarks about people winning the Carabao Cup final, they do not count anymore, because we're in the final and we're going to play Chelsea. Great game last night. Joining me for a little chat is the none other than Scott Elliott. Scott, how are you feeling this morning?
Very good. On top of the world, mate. Great feeling, isn't it? After a wonderful performance. Loved it. Loved it. Every minute of it.
Brilliant. Well, it's the first time we've ever done this, so we're going live. If you're watching, don't feel free to make some comments and questions or whatever. But we're going to have a general chat about the game. So, Scott, last night the team lineup comes in, and what did you think about the lineup?
I thought it was decent enough. You got to rest a few people. I thought Ali might play, if I'm honest, in goal. I thought Minamino might play as well instead of Cade, just to probably have a little bit more experience to stop Tierney getting forward.
Yeah, I mean, was that a big surprise for you, Cade starting?
No, he done well, didn't he? He's done well when he's played, and this is the good thing about Liverpool and Jurgen. They give people chances. If you earn that chance, you're going to get an opportunity, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
So it's great.
And it was no surprise to see Jones start again. I thought his last two performances have been absolutely fantastic. Just on the Kelleher thing, I mean, Jurgen's just done his pre-match press conference for the Crystal Palace game. You can tell he highly rates him. I actually did a podcast with John Achterberg a while ago, and he spoke very, very highly of Kelleher. You could see how much he rated him. From your point of view, do you have any misgivings when you see his name on the team sheet? Is that's the thing of the past, I think, isn't it now?
No, I think last night's proved that. I mean, what I like about Queeve is that he's just so calm, isn't he? And if he makes a mistake, he's just very level-headed all the way, and that's the sign of a good player or a good keeper. Because you're going to make mistakes. How you deal with that? He's a lovely guy. He's a top lad, and like I say, I just like his composure on the ball and how relaxed he is. I was screaming actually on the free kick that hit the bar, or he's tipped onto the bar. I'm sitting there watching it with Harvey, and I'm saying, get over, you're too far across. And all of a sudden he's just tipped on the bar, like, oh God, great save. But I mean, I think that's just a little bit of experience and stuff like that. That's the sort of save that Ali's positioning is so good that he's already a yard to his left to read that.
Yeah. He makes saves look easy, doesn't he, Ali? When he's actually done, he makes saves look easy, Ali, when he's actually done the hard work before his position. So we are live. So if you've got any comments, I can see John Moore has asked a question. I don't know whether you can see the questions, Scott, but it says, could we see Elliott? And he spelled Elliott right, by the way.
Oh, good lad. ELLIOTT.
Make his return at Wembley.
Say that again, sorry.
So John Moore said, could we see Harvey make his return at Wembley?
Possibly. Yeah, you just never know. You never know.
Jurgen's just said that he thinks Harvey will be back after the international break in his press conference.
Oh, is that what he said? Okay, brilliant. Great news.
Well, the thing is, he actually said that he's seen him in training the last couple of days, and they want to hold themselves back because they're like, well, he could play now. He looks like he could play now, and they were like, no, let's just be calm and let's give him some time. I mean, we've got the international break coming up, which gives him a natural couple of weeks anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's all going well. Listen, he's raring to go, and then when Jurgen and the team are ready to select him again, they will do.
What just while we're on Harvey, what was he like either before and after his first team training session the other day?
Do you know what? He was. I took him into training, pick him up, and he's just. He was looking forward to it. But he's just such a cool, calm character. He takes everything in his stride. Honestly, he doesn't panic. He doesn't. Everything's just chilled. He's just really relaxed. He's worked hard for this moment, extremely hard. And he went in there, and by the feedback I got, he trained like he plays, which
Right.
we've always had this discussion: train like you play. And he went in there, and the reports back and feedback was that he'd done exceptionally well. But it takes time. Just got to keep working, and he'll get there
Yeah, of
sooner
course.
rather than later, hopefully.
We Kenny Wilson has just commented. He said, "Have you seen the goal he scored from behind, from the halfway line?" Were you sent me that video? Were you actually at that game where he scored
Yeah,
from the halfway
yeah,
line?
yeah. It was against QPR, his old side. So he was at QPR from sort of, obviously, you can't sign for an academy till you're under 9 anyway, officially. So he was there from 9, 10, and then 11 we moved to Fulham, and then at 13 we played behind closed doors in the dome at Fulham, and it was literally straight from kickoff. Literally, it must have been 2 seconds, 3 seconds. He just rolled the ball back and see the keeper of his line, just popped it over him. Just unbelievable.
Was that something? Did you speak to him after the game about that? Was it something he had in his mind, or it just happened at that instant?
No, I think with players in general, you a lot of players see pictures
Yeah,
but can't execute.
yeah,
Harvey's one of them players that sees it but can execute it.
yeah.
So there's another goal later on. Actually, I think he was 14 playing against Nottingham Forest under 18s, and he basically picked the ball up inside his own half, beat 3 players, and chipped the keeper from 45 yards. He sees that sort of thing. But
Hmm.
to be fair, when he was in the academy, I used to watch. Well, I watched all the games really, and I used to look at keepers. And when they were coming off their line, if we were playing that team again, I'd say, just have a look out for the keeper, just in case. Just be aware,
Yeah, of
because
course.
you just catch the keeper out, don't you?
But it's funny. I did a podcast with Kenny, which is on our YouTube channel. If you want to go and dig it out, about some of his goals, and in a similar way, he in the '78 Cup final, he saw Terry McDermott go through one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and in his mind, he saw the goalkeeper go down early. In his mind, he thought that Terry McDermott had gone through 3 times one-on-one and the goalkeeper gone down early, but it was just once. But from that moment, he thought, if I get through one-on-one, I'm going to chip the keeper. And then
Yeah,
obviously he scores that goal to win the final. And I think, players aren't just playing in the moment, they're playing in the future as well. They're using every bit of information. Top players are using every bit of information, aren't they, to benefit themselves. And from what you said there, that's exactly what Harvey's done
yeah.
with that goal. There's a few more comments. Kenny Wilson, before his injury, Harvey looked like he was going to fly this season. Pray he comes back stronger, both mentally and physically. He's worked hard, hasn't he, during his recovery?
Yes, yeah. He has. But pre-season, we got back from Blackburn last year pre-season, and we sat down and I said to Harves, how long you got off? And he said, 6 weeks. And I said, no, son, you've got 2 weeks off. So I said, go and do what you like for 2 weeks. Then you got 4 weeks to get yourself ready to be better than every other player to get yourself in that team.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He came back. Attitude was 100%. He came back and he literally had a couple of weeks off, and he worked his socks off. He was so determined to get into this side. And he put the effort in, and he got rewarded with it.
Mm.
Yeah.
The John Moores asked the question: how did Harvey react to the news that Liverpool wanted him?
He didn't believe me. To be fair, we had basically we'd booked a family holiday after Harvey's exams, so he finished on, I think it was the Friday, 15th of June. So we booked holiday to Portugal for 2 weeks. just to get away from the family before pre-season started. And then I got a phone call 1 week into the holiday. And it wasn't just Liverpool, Real Madrid. There was a lot of interested teams. And we just took off the table the teams we weren't really interested in. And we narrowed it down to a few. And then we just cut short the holiday. But once I told Harvey, he was like, "Are you joking?" And I was like, "No." But,
Would that have come from his agent? Would his agent have gone to clubs? Is that how? I thought it would be that. And then obviously they were aware of him because he'd made his debut. He was the youngest player to play in the Premier League at that point for Fulham.
Yeah, he had already been the youngest player to play in the Carabao Cup, and then the youngest player to play in the Premier League. So I suspect a few teams would have been following him or watching him.
Yeah, 100%. They'd all have been aware with him. Let's should we have a little chat about the game last night?
Oh, yeah, wonderful.
Let's start on Diogo Jota, Scott. First of all, let me ask you what your expectations were when we signed him. I mean, it was out the blue. It was one of those Fabinho moments where it was like Liverpool linked with, oh no, they've signed him. It was that sort of quick. And obviously we spoke to Craig the other week and he was doing the other deal and didn't even know about the Jota deal, which is mad until the last minute. So, I mean, what were your expectations when he came in?
Well, it was a surprise, wasn't it? I think, it's great the way Liverpool do it. It's back to the old days. No one's got a clue and then bang, all of a sudden you got a player and you're like, it's like the Fabinho one straight after the Champions League. It was just like, was it the following day it was signed? And you're like, oh, hello, this is brilliant. I mean, Diogo, look, you're looking at it. I'm looking at it as a fan's point of view, and I'm thinking, same as everyone else, that front three is pretty tasty that we've already got. How is he going to get into that team? And now you're looking at it, you're saying any three of them four can play. Yeah. And you haven't got any fears, you haven't got any... Yeah. You just trust it. And I'll be honest, obviously watching Diogo all year closely, I thought last night was his best game. That run down the left wing when he cut it back to Cade, it was just tops. He was sensational. He was So to answer your question, I suppose I was a little bit surprised when we signed him, and you've always got to look at it, and you've got to trust Liverpool with what they do, because their player signing success rate is so good, isn't it? It really is so high, and you always know Jurgen and team and Pep, and they're going to make a player better.
Yeah.
So and he's his goal scoring record, his numbers are phenomenal, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean you always said to me about when you talk in relation to Harvey, the only person that can make an excuse is yourself, because you've not done it. And I'm assuming Jota's come in and thought, well, I can play in that front three. Maybe he thought, I'm better than Firmino, or I'm different to Firmino, so I offer something completely different to the team. But he's certainly slotted in there. I mean, his goal scoring record is fabulous. He got goals before, but not the likes of what we're seeing now. And we did that to Mo Salah as well. His goal scoring record was all right, but not what we see. And like you said, that's down to the coaching and the mentality they instill in players. I think they have a canny knack of getting in a player's head and making them feel like they can be far better than they've seen before. Do you think that?
Yeah, I think, like I've said to you before on a number of occasions, I've always said to Harvey from sort of 8 years old, or probably less than that, 7 really, in the school team. I say, as soon as you cross that white line, you're the best player on it. If Messi and Ronaldo are on there, I don't give a shit. You're the best player on the pitch. And then as soon as you come back off, you don't talk about yourself. Anyone else wants to talk, you do it. Let them.
Yeah. There's let's have a look. Mark Hathaway thinks, as just on the Jota point, he said, do you think that Jota is above Bobby in the pecking order now? I don't really think there's a pecking order, do you? I think it's horses for courses. We've got availability issues with injury, COVID, whatever. It's I don't know whether it works like that now. Do you?
No, I'm not. Look, it's hard to say he's a better than him. If you're looking at his out and out numbers, he's obviously returned the numbers. But Bobby, I mean, I don't know if you watched. I obviously took a bit more interest because it was Harvey's first training session. But inside Anfield, the training, and you see Bobby doing keepy ups with Fab, and you're looking at him going, "Oh my God!" And I remember Harvey's first session when he went away with the team. They went to France, and the front three hadn't turned up yet. And I said, "Oh, what's Mo like when he turned up?" Because I was all excited as a fan. What's he like? What's he like? And he goes, "He's tops. He's top player." I said, "What about Sadio? What's Sadio like?" He said, "He's brilliant, Dad. He's so cool." I went, "What about Bobby then?" He said, "Honestly, Dad, the only words I can say about Bobby is Rolls Royce.
Wow.
When he's on the pitch, he's just, you see him in training, and Harvey was blown away by Bobby from the first time he saw him in training, just the way he holds the ball and, his technique and stuff. So I wouldn't say necessarily Jota's ahead of him, because you've also got the option where if Mo's not available, Jota can slot in. If Sadio's not, Jota can. And the good thing about Diogo is he can play anywhere across that front three. So if anything, it just keeps you all on your toes, doesn't it? There's competition for places now.
There's a bit of debate at the moment on podcasts that I've heard where people are now saying that Diogo can't play on the right and he prefers the left. They may well prefer the left, but what do you think about that? Do you think he can't play on the right? I think he's had a couple of poor games there, but it doesn't mean that he can't.
Put it this way: if someone said you've got to play on the right today, or you're not playing, you play anywhere, don't you? I remember Harvey, he always played on the right wing. He was loosely linked to Pat Roberts so many times at Fulham, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And then he got moved up for England, and we went out to Spain for a tournament. We were playing against France. Zinedine Zidane's son actually played against him, but he was playing a year up, and I saw him before the game as he was coming out. He said, "I'm on the left wing." And really, Harvey's not played on the left wing for virtually the whole of his academy
even though
life.
He's predominantly left-footed.
And he went out left wing, and I was quite interested to see it. And he went out, he scored 2, set up 1. They beat France 3-2, and I'm going, I think Diogo could play on the right if he needed to. And the good thing about him is he can use his left foot, can't he?
Yeah.
So he's quite two-footed, which is a bonus.
Yeah. Of course. Just going back to the game, I mean, Jota scores. I mean, that's. I just want to talk about the second goal, because it's just a thing of beauty. I think we win the ball in midfield, and then Trent. I mean, I was going to come on to talking about Trent anyway, so why don't we talk about Trent now? I mean, the form he's in this season is exceptional, isn't it?
Unbelievable. I don't know how he's ever questioned about the right back position. Look, there's top right backs. I think Reece James is absolutely tops. When he's compared with Wan-Bissaka, with the greatest respect, not having it. And people talk about fullbacks, and people then automatically go, "Oh, well, he can't defend, or his defending's not great." Well, you can criticise that, but the way Liverpool play is they don't play with defensive fullbacks. Did anyone ever criticise Cafu or Roberto Carlos? Because they weren't the best defending, but going forward, they were exceptional. And what Trent gives us is just, I mean, we're absolutely blessed. He's 23 years old. We've got another 10 years of this guy. And he's just unbelievable, the best in the world, easily.
I think he gets questioned too easily by our fans sometimes. I mean, you hear if he has one bad game, there seems to be a bit of. When I say question, that I'm not saying people are saying he's crap, sell him, but I think we expect so much of him as a fan base and as a local lad, that I think some of the criticism that he gets sometimes feels a bit harsh because of what he's achieved for us. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. Because when you're looking at him, Gav, you're like, look, you've got to understand that Jurgen's asking him to get forward. And with the best will in the world, you can't be forward and back. Right? You're in one place or the other. He's a human being, and he works his socks off. But what he gives us going forward far outweighs what he gives us coming back. Now, if he's going to bomb forward and people attack us down that left-hand side, there's going to be gaps there, isn't there? Because he's going forward. But I mean, that ball he put in from the right for Cade, that cross where he whipped it round. And I remember talking to Trent about, it must have been 2 years ago, right, in the summer. And I said to him, I've never seen a player cross a ball since David Beckham like you do. I mean, he's just he's effortless, and he's just top class, his technique. And do you want a defensive fullback? You can have that. But Liverpool are about scoring goals, especially under Jurgen. And what he gives us going forward is just so exciting.
This record is phenomenal, isn't it? It's up there with Kevin De Bruyne. I think Kevin De Bruyne is slightly ahead.
I think chances created. He's top now, isn't he? I was seeing he's above, and nearest to him is Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
So I think he's got 10 chances created, more than anyone else in the league. That's from right back.
Incredible. Dave, I just want to say a little hello to Dave's LFC Chats. He's a friend of the show. He's been on the podcast. He's a great lad. He grafts really hard on his channel, so give him a little look up there. Let's have a little look, see some more comments. Kenny Wilson has said Jota is just so good. Look at the tackles he receives and the free kicks he wins. What a signing. If Harvey wants to donate a shirt to me in the Stone Away happy days, I don't think that's going to happen, Kenny, unfortunately. But nice try. Nice try for that one.
10 out of 10 for effort.
Yeah, totally. So my next point was Curtis. I mean, obviously you know Curtis personally and well. Him and Harvey kind of formed a bit of a bond after Harvey came in. I think he's been fantastic. I mean, we've had a chat. I think, I don't know whether it was on a podcast or privately, where we'd seen, and I mentioned this to Kenny, we were seeing a very more responsible Curtis Jones from the one that we'd seen in the under-23s. And you know that the under-23s form that he's got is there, but we just haven't kind of seen it in flashes in the first team, and you're wondering whether that's gonna actually happen. I think last few games I've seen more signs of that. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I messaged Kurt after the game, funnily enough, and I thought he was outstanding last night, especially first half. He was absolutely tops. But also, what you got to remember for the 23s is, as everyone knows, a massive step up. But Kurt was playing left wing. He was playing in Sadio's position for the 23s, right? Harvey was on the right, Kurt on the left. So they were both very attacking, didn't have that responsibility. You know, Kurt's now been asked to play deeper in one of the midfield three. So it's sort of a new role for him to learn to a certain extent at a much higher level. But look, he's 20 years old, isn't he? I think he's 21 next week, right? He's a baby. You've got to look at, you know, if you look back at all these top players, what were they doing at 19, 20? Were they top players? No. But Curtis, in 3 years' time, solid. What a signing. What a player.
He's exciting for me, Curtis. When I look at that squad, and I look at the future, Curtis is one of the reasons why you think, we're gonna, Curtis and Harvey, you could see them perhaps playing in the midfield around Fabinho in the future. I mean, that's exciting in itself. Cade Gordon, I mean, do you know much about Cade? Because he's kind of come in after Harvey went through the under-23s. He's obviously started yesterday, which was a big, thumbs up for him. Obviously a big vote of confidence from the manager. How did you think he played yesterday? Because he certainly in his cameo against Brentford, he was lively. I love his movement. He makes that run from out to in, like very much like we need someone to. Plus, he's got the pace to back it up, and he picks up positions in the box which a striker would pick up, and that's what I'm quite encouraged with him. There's a lot more to come from his game, but they're the two things that I like about him. What do you think?
Yeah, look, he's got the movement. He's still very young. Yeah, it was a good learning curve for him last night. I thought he struggled to get in the game, really, first half, very quiet first half, a little bit more second half, unlucky, great run, unlucky not to score, probably should have hit the target, really, because I just base that on, if that's Harvey, I'm saying, bloody hell, hit the target, mate, But look, he's 17 years old, but he's very much, like you say, very much, to a certain extent, a little bit like Mo. Not that you want to compare, but even though he's a wide player, that outside to in run, he makes that well. And you just got to be patient with him again. He's obviously doing something right in training, because Jurgen does not give minutes for people that don't earn it.
Mm.
You know, I remember a couple of years ago, I was actually Harvey's uncle. I was away with him, and we're at the game, and Harvey was on the bench against Bournemouth, and we were 2-0 up with, like, I think a minute to go. And I'm thinking, please get him on, because he was on the bench. And Jurgen brought Shaq on, like, didn't even touch the ball, and I was like that. Oh, heartbreak. But it goes to show that Jurgen, you've got to earn it. There's no God-given right. So Cade's obviously working his socks off in training, and he's doing well, isn't he?
Mm.
But again, it's another. You can't look at Cade now. I don't think it's like it used to be, where you see a 17-year-old burst on like a Michael Owen. I think someone like Cade now, think about him in 3 or 4 years and what he can be.
Yeah, and like I say, I mean, it's encouraging, and it looks like, it's a bit simplistic to say this, but it looks like there's a succession plan going on there. I mean, I think I've heard a few people saying that Harvey's had to move him to midfield because Cade's now the heir apparent to Mo Salah. I don't buy that for 1 minute. I think Harvey's moving to midfield was always on the cards because of the type of player he is. Yeah.
Yeah, for the first meeting ever with Jurgen said, I see him as a sort of 8 inside. That was within the first hour of ever meeting Jurgen, he said that. So I think that was always the plan.
Let's put that one to bed then. There we go.
People talk, don't they? People like to make up stuff.
People have opinions, and they put 2 and 2 together, and that makes sense, that argument. But just to put that to bed, it was always Harvey's progression. I mean, he can play in most positions as well, so it's not like that's it. He's a midfielder. It's not like that. That's not the case at all.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. The other one I wanted to, just before we start talking quickly about the Crystal Palace game, the other one I wanted to speak to about was Fabinho.
Fabinho or Firmino?
Fabinho.
Right, go on
him. Because he was back to his impervious best there. He was nicking the ball off people. He was breaking stuff up. He was blocking passing lanes. He was fantastic, Scott, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was tops. That one where Martinelli turned Verge, and he just got back and nicked it. It was like tops, wasn't it? It was like, brilliant, getting on the ball. In all fairness, I thought a couple of his passes, it'd probably be a little bit disappointed with a couple of them early on. They were a little bit sloppy for a player of his ability. A little bit short, but yeah, he was tops, wasn't he? Without a doubt.
He looks like a player, Martinelli, doesn't he?
Yeah, really like him. Do you know what? I've just had this discussion this morning with the boys on the on our football group, on our Liverpool group, and I really like him. He's actually a Jurgen type player.
Yeah,
he's just so busy, and he's hungry, and he's got a little bit of the early Suarez about him. He's a bit niggly. He's got a little bit of needle. He's just got something that he's up for it, But he's still young. You never know.
We've got our eye on a couple of their players, I think, as I saw Jurgen throw the arm round Saka in the first leg, didn't we? So let's just let me have a look at the comments again. Tony K has made a comment. We were very sloppy at the back first half. Better not do that against Chelsea. We blew a 2-0 lead at Stamford Bridge the other week. Need to be careful. Tony's been a little bit negative. He's ruining the buzz there with that. But Martinelli was in the Brazilian national team when he was 17. That's interesting. Didn't know that. He's obviously Brazilian, is he? Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to that comment, people say we're a sloppy first half, and you can say that's negative, right? Or whatever. But you've got to look at the game. You're 0-0. You've got a 0-0 at Anfield. A little bit fortunate, but got a 0-0, right? With some good defending and a bit of luck. They've gone back at home. They're coming out in front of their home fans. They're going to be up for it for bloody 10, 15 minutes. They're at home. They're not going to sit back and be negative and let us walk all over them. They're going to have a go at us and try and nick a goal. So you can say we're a bit sloppy, but sometimes you have to give the opposition a little bit of credit. We're at Premier League level. There's not an easy game. right?
Yeah.
So teams are going to have 10, 15, 20-minute periods at home, especially against the big boys, where they're up for it.
Yeah.
So a bit of credit to Arsenal. They had a go. First 15 minutes, they started lively. Once we got to grip with the games after 15 minutes, because I'm not having that comment the first half. There was a couple of misplaced passes by Joel on that, but I'm not having that comment, right? So, and after 15 minutes, I thought we absolutely dominated that game from start to finish. I didn't even look like we were going to concede after 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Top performance.
A good professional performance, wasn't it? So just going on to the Crystal Palace game, because I'm conscious that don't want to take up too much of your time, Scott, because I appreciate that you're a very busy and important man.
I've got a concert to do later. I've got a little bit of singing to do, Gav.
So Crystal Palace, just for anyone who hasn't had a chance to have a look into it, they're currently 11th on 24 points. Do you know anything about Conor Gallagher? Because he's a young player that's come through. Has he come through with Harvey, or is he a bit older?
No, he's a bit older, but he's having a wonderful season, isn't he?
Yeah,
really good. Really good.
Scored their most goals from centre midfield. I think he scored 7. Yeah. What do you know about him? Is he?
Listen, not too much in terms of like personally. I've seen him a bit at younger age groups, through the academies where Harvey's been playing up, and he's a really good player, And what I like about him is he works his socks off. He's not like can I say a Maddison for me is a little bit lazy. I watched him the game against Leicester, and he's a bit of he's obviously got ability and he's good on the ball, but I'm not keen on his work rate. But yeah, Conor Gallagher, I think he's really, really top player. It'd be a great signing if Palace could get him.
So after, in the process of this podcast, we're now linked with Martinelli, Saka, and Conor Gallagher. Yeah, you heard it first.
What about Harvey and Cade and Curtis? Hey, come on, where's your loyalty, Gav? Hey, Jesus, you go shopping. That's it. You want to buy everything. You're worse than my wife.
You watch after this podcast. Indy Callier will have an exclusive. I've heard from my source at Anfield. Going back to Crystal Palace, Edouard, Zaha, 5 goals each. They're not in bad form. It's been a bit patchy. They lost to Spurs and West Ham, which you would expect them probably to. And then wins against Norwich and Millwall and a draw against Brighton. Brighton are a good side. I remember them at Anfield at the beginning of the season, and I was very, very impressed with them. I thought they were a decent footballing team who were very fit and physical. He'd obviously had them organised, but their output in terms of running and pressing and all those sort of ugly things was actually quite good. I don't know what, I've not seen them since, but did you think that? Have you seen any of them recently?
Yeah, very well organised. I've seen a few games just on Sky, when they've been on watching them, but Vieira's doing a cracking job there, isn't he? He really is. He's got on playing good football. As we've been to Palace a few years now, and it can be a tough place to go, especially if they go a goal up. It's the sort of game where Zaha, who's missing for 5 games, just turns up, and a bit of magic because he has got that game in him. Gallagher again, Michael Olise, saw quite a bit of him in the Championship last year for Reading. Good young player, so they've got a good solid side, and it's going to be a tougher game. And as we know in the Premier League, you can't, you've got to earn the right. You've got to win them battles, individual battles, and earn the right to win games of football. You're not given it. And I'm sure Vieira will have them working their socks off.
I think it feels like a place that we go to and struggle, but I think our record, I don't have it to hand, but our record there is actually quite good. I think we're all still a bit scarred by that, the 2013-14 seasons where we were 3-0 up and then we lost 3 goals at the back end of the game. So, I believe our record's quite good, but they've got some decent players. Benteke's still there, is that right?
Yeah, they got Edouard, haven't they? Edouard up front.
Yeah.
So they're solid. Yeah, look, I don't want to jinx anything, but the last few years has been down to Mo a little bit. Us getting something, he's been the man that's popped up with the goods, hasn't he? And you're losing him for the game, and the boys have got to find another way of breaking them down.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, what would if you were looking, what do you think he'll do in terms of team selection? Do you think he'll rotate, or do you think it'll be the same again? Just go out and do them again.
I think there'll be a slight rotation, but I don't know. Look, I don't know. Jurgen and Pep will talk about that. I think they'll rotate the team slightly.
Yeah. I don't know whether I've just done my press conference video. So in terms of injuries, Ox is back, I believe. He's running again, so it looks like he could be fit for Sunday. And they're not sure about Matip. He said that Matip wasn't 100%, and so they pulled him off as a precaution. So there could be a little change there. I wonder whether he might do something at left back. He might bring Tsimikas in. I think Robbo's played quite a few games on the bounce, hasn't he?
Robbo was outstanding again last night, wasn't he?
It's brilliant. He's absolutely.
He was really back. The fullbacks have just blew me away. Really, the amount of work they put in is just phenomenal.
Yeah. It's. I think Robertson, there was a few questions of him over in the beginning of the season. I thought that was a bit unfair because of what he's done for us, and also the fact that he had that knock at the beginning of the season. We've not seen him have an injury and have to come back for him, so we don't know what he's like in that situation. But he's certainly over all that now. Scott, give me your prediction. What score do you think it will be?
2-0 Liverpool.
2-0. I'll take that. Scott, thank you for your time, as ever. It's been a pleasure.
Welcome, mate.
If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. If you're watching this on Twitter or Facebook, don't forget to follow the page. And if you're on Twitter and Facebook, give us a little retweet the video for us, because we're just trying to grow this. And the more we grow, the more we can do for you. So thanks for your time, Scott. Lovely to speak to you, mate. You're a legend.
Cheers, mate.
Ever. I'll give you some singing lessons at some stage. See you, mate.